Once I see myself, then we will move on here. All right. Let's try to go a little lower here. Once I see myself, we will get going. All right. We are up and running. All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. My name is Tori Cooper. So happy to welcome you in here to the First Alert Desk on Mother's Day. Hopefully, it's been a safe and enjoyable one for you and your family. We have been following a number of stories that have transpired over the weekend. It's been a busy weekend as far as crime and just a lot of different things going on in Metro Atlanta. So we have you covered on the main top stories, of course, and we are also working on developing ones further. So let's jump into one of the top stories that's transpired this weekend. It happened around shortly after 5 p.m. yesterday. There was 3 police officers with the Atlanta Police Department who were shot after they received reports of a man with a gun. Let's take you back to that scene right now because we do have some video from that. And I just want to play it out for you because we did get some updates on how these officers are doing, and I want to share that with you and make sure that we're very precise on that information. So this is some video from that scene. And so one of the 3 officers shot is now out of surgery and has another surgery scheduled for tomorrow. The second officer had a successful surgery today and is now recovering, which is good news. While the third officer was released from the hospital overnight. Now, we also had a chance to speak with the Atlanta Police Department and the Atlanta Police Foundation today. The police department told us that 2 of the officers are 31 years old and 4-year veterans of the department. The third officer is 28 years old and a 5-month veteran with the police department. When we spoke to the Atlanta Police Foundation, they told us that they have been providing hotels and additional support for the families of those officers that were injured in this shooting. A lot of information, but the good news is everyone, all of the officers involved are recovering well, and we are keeping a very close eye on them. Now, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation also released a statement today, and they said that, quote, the GBI agents recovered the man's handgun at the scene. The man was taken to the Fulton County Medical Examiner's office for an autopsy. Agents are working to notify next of kin of the man's death. Now, when they're speaking of the man's death, they're speaking of the suspect who was involved in this shooting with police. According to police, this man was shot and killed by police officers on scene. And that's the very latest. We still are working to learn the identity of that individual, but as soon as family members are, notified, we'll make sure that we bring you that update here as well. All right. That's the very latest on that. We also have our reporter, Blake Devine, working on furthering that story tonight. So we'll bring you more updates as we learn more on that. All right, so now let's move over to Buckhead. This is something that transpired overnight at a popular nightclub, a lounge. I've done several stories on this, and I'm sure if you guys watch our morning show, you know that we're always usually on a crime beat. And I covered at one point there was lounge shooting after lounge shooting after lounge shooting. I was at a lounge shooting for 3 weeks in a row. So this type of behavior in Atlanta, you are from here, it's not something that you're shocked about, but it does have mothers today, families today grieving because of what happened. 6 people were shot. 2 of them were killed at the Buckhead Lounge. And let me just make sure I get the name of this lounge correct. It's the 1145 Lounge, just to be sure. That's exactly what it was. Yes, the 1145 Lounge was where this happened. Let me bring you some video of this scene because we've had several reporters out there since this transpired. You can see police officers out there. There is the signage at the 1145 nightclub. Police are now trying to understand how the suspect managed to get past security with a gun into the building, allowing this to unfold. So now police tell us that that's going to be a big part of their investigation, and as we learn about new steps that they're taking. We also have some names of the individuals who were shot, and we're going to have that in our newscast later on tonight, so look for that. But we did speak with police, and here's what they told us.
Clear procedures and letting individuals in with a gun, that'll be a part of our investigation right now, but we are in the preliminary stages. So clear procedures and letting in.
Don't want to play it there too much for you, but you heard what the investigators were talking about there. This is very much the beginning stages of all of this, so we're going to be keeping a very close tab on this. We imagine we'll get more information as each hour goes by hour. Investigators are releasing more information that they are able to the public and to us as journalists. So we'll be keeping a close eye on this, as well as the people that were involved in the shooting, to see what they are able to tell us. So again, our condolences go out to the family members of those who were shot at this nightclub. Please be safe out there. It's warming up. More people are going outside and having fun. This is typically when we see crime really heating up in Metro Atlanta. The data and statistics really show that is a trend in all major metropolitan cities across the nation, that summer hot months bring about more crime. So just keep that in your back pocket as you continue to make choices on your own in terms of where you're spending your time and where you're seeking fun. So now I figured we would end on a happy note here. This one was really exciting. I have had a chance to travel alongside our Atlanta Hawks for several months. I got to this season because of Gray's partnership with the Atlanta Hawks and Peachtree Sports Network, so it's been amazing. And today, the Hawks absolutely won the day. They learned that they will get the #1 draft pick. And it comes at a time when really the pool of players isn't as strong as it usually is to pick from. There's no immediate standout who everyone knows, oh, that's the #1 draft pick, who it's going to be. But either way, the Hawks really lucked up. They got the #1 draft pick, and that was through the lottery that took place this afternoon. We learned that information. We shared it with you at 6:30. And if you didn't tune in at 6:30, here's what the general manager of the Hawks had to say about it.
It's wild. I knew what the odds were. I knew where, the probability, the largest probability for us was, between 10 and 12, I believe there. So once the 10th pick was shown, I knew we launched into the top 4. So like everything kind of swirls through your head at that point in time. And you're like, okay, we actually have a crack at this thing. And lo and behold, here we are.
So as you know, if you watch the Hawks this season, they struggled with a lot of injuries. So, getting a win like this is needed at a time like this when your team is coming off a long season. A lot of people were injured, and you might just need that young spark to add to your team, to get the city excited, to get your team excited. So we are all excited to see what the Hawks decide on, and we will all be watching. So keep an eye on our sports team, because they will do it the very best in terms of covering every angle of this. And we are also with the Atlanta Dream. We are keeping a close eye on them as well. So those are the top stories that I felt you should know about tonight. And make sure that you tune in at 10, because we're going to have more developments on a lot of these stories. But now we're going to talk about the slight change in the forecast happening, because we have had some glorious sunshine outside, but we have our First Alert meteorologist, Cutter Martin, joining us now, and he's going to talk all about what you can expect for your work week. He's tracking 2 First Alert weather days.
Yeah, right off the bat, Monday and Tuesday. Already some changes up in the sky. They're still gorgeous for mom, for family activities out there this evening. Rain-free, despite it being just a little bit more gloomy than it was earlier today, so keep that in mind. I know it looks pretty gloomy out there. This is our sky cam on the top of the Atlantic building, so West Midtown, Atlantic Station. If you're unfamiliar with this cam, we're looking back towards the east and kind of southeast, back towards Midtown, of course, right there in the foreground in the general direction of Decatur as well. So again, we're going to be watching changes here in the First Alert forecast next 24 hours, probably the biggest change, though I will say Monday and Tuesday, even though we're watching these days to have, impactful weather, there is the possibility that we could see some further changes in the first alert forecast. A very tricky setup, one that is going to feature some, kind of day-to-day details that could mean big changes in what you see each day. We're just going to have to kind of watch and see how the weather evolves both of these days here across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. So we're going to walk through the forecast to let you know where it's storming right now. Just to our west, we do have quite a bit going on, and that will be moving in. The rain, the showers, the thunderstorms back into the first alert forecast. Again, a live look outside right now. We're certainly seeing some of that gloom, and on the way, here's kind of a breakdown of how the next few days, the rest of the work week, will play out. I'm First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin here for the second half of this Atlanta News First Plus stream. We have Monday rain in the forecast in particular, watching the possibility of a damp back half in particular of the morning commute, maybe a damp lunch stretch Monday. Tuesday, once again, rain could build in early with a greater risk of heavy rain and thunderstorms. It could linger into the afternoon. And then Friday, another round of rain and storms are in the first alert forecast. So clearly a week that has weather that could impact you. And there is some nice weather to be had as well. So it's not an all-out washout, but certainly days to watch, especially if you have outdoor plans, and on through the morning commute. First alert radar right now, just proof in the picture here. We are dry despite our increase in clouds. If anything, the clouds this evening just kind of enhancing that sunset, adding some color to the western horizon. Though you don't have to go too far to find some rain. Down 65 southwest of Montgomery, dealing with rain. I-20 corridor between Birmingham and Jackson, it's raining. South side of the Memphis metro on towards Little Rock, rain is building in, and this is the batch that could bring some wetter weather into portions of North Georgia, even the immediate metro, as we get into tomorrow morning. So we'll roll you hour by hour here, coming up here in just a few minutes. Also want to remind you, if you are streaming on Roku, Amazon Fire, maybe in the Atlanta News First app, First Alert weather app, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, YouTube is a great place to check out as well. Just like and follow Atlanta News First, or just peep in on the stream. If you're watching on Roku, maybe on your TV. Of course, if you're already watching in the YouTube application, then we're already chatting. Hello to you, Alex, watching from East Point. Gorgeous evening down on the southwest side. Wesley Millsap on the northwest side, up in Ackworth, and gorgeous in both of those spots. Wesley and Alex, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, give me a holler on YouTube. Just keep in mind, sometimes there's a little bit of a delay between when you put that question in and when it actually pops up in the YouTube thread, but I do have it right in front of me, and we'll be monitoring that thread here over the next, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many minutes we go. So First Alert weather day tomorrow, there's a greater chance of rain, and we'll walk you hour by hour, kind of starting early in the morning. Let's roll back the clock. This is just one forecast model, but it has a decent handle on what has happened today. It gives me confidence that it has a decent handle on what goes down tomorrow, so keep that in mind as we roll forward, starting at 5 a.m., lots of clouds, sprinkles southwest side. We are into our first alert as we get into the morning rush. 7:38, 9 a.m. First Alert weather day. Obviously, it's not a torrential rain. Not even everyone seeing the rain, but there will be some showers around. There will be some wet roadways to contend with, especially I-20 west of Atlanta, I-85 through the Coweta County corridor. Probably wetter than, say, Hall County, wetter than, say, Forsyth County, Lumpkin County, on up into Rabun County, northeast Georgia. Southwest side, the focus for rain tomorrow. So just keep that in mind. Greater rain chance on the southwest side. Again, not a washout, but it's a Monday morning commute. A lot of folks hitting the roadways. There will be some wet conditions out there. And if anything, forecast models have trended just a little bit drier for that morning wave of rain, a little bit more sporadic and scattered. Earlier runs of this same model were much wetter. So there's a potential for it to trend back wetter again. We're just going to have to see how this evolves. But I would plan on some rain out the door in the morning. Maybe a bit of a late morning lull. Here we are in the afternoon again, though. Rain building back in. Light to moderate rain. It's not a downpour. It's not a huge hindrance to your day, but lunch rush could be damp, and some of this rain lingering into the evening rush, especially the southeast side of town. Again, favored for some evening showers in the First Alert forecast. Maybe a little bit of a break Monday evening for dinner plans. Maybe you couldn't celebrate with mom today and you scheduled dinner Monday evening. I think a little bit of a break. That break, though, comes to an end as we get into Tuesday morning. Once again, There has been a little bit of an adjustment to the forecast here. Earlier, it was looking like rain Tuesday would be even more widespread than on Monday. More recent runs, though, are showing it being wetter Monday than on Tuesday. Just know that 48-hour period between early Monday morning and late Tuesday evening or so, just shy of 48 hours, there will be a few different rounds of rain working through North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. We're throwing on that red flag, that first alert weather day. Just know that rain and a few storms could impact your day, slow the commute. Certainly a greater rain chance and more impactful weather than what we had this weekend. Hence, no word of caution, no first alert weather day this weekend. Weather was stunning, and now we have some more active weather back in the first alert forecast. And we're lining up some of these showers with the morning commute, Monday into Tuesday. Case in point, 7 a.m. Tuesday, we have rain building into the city of Atlanta. South side favored for Tuesday morning downpours, though there are scattered showers north metro on up into the mountains as well. Maybe a little bit of a break, even some sunshine Tuesday afternoon, but we will probably see scattered showers and thunderstorms form again. You can see that right here on this forecast model, what a computer thinks radar will look like. As we get into Tuesday afternoon and evening, a couple of these storms could become strong to severe, especially Tuesday. Greater risk of severe weather with this setup Monday, Tuesday. Greater south of our area, middle Georgia, down into South Georgia, coastal Georgia. For us, a level 1 out of 5 risk of severe weather. That's a marginal risk of severe weather, mainly metro and point south. A couple of storms could produce some gusty winds, small hail. Risk of tornadoes, not quite 0, but it's close to it. Lesser risk of severe weather than what we had just a few days ago when we did have some confirmed tornadic damage, a confirmed tornado in Gilmer County, and a more widespread area of wind and hail impact and heavy rain, some flooding as well. So not quite that setup. Nonetheless, first alert weather days Monday, Tuesday. Right now, even 60% chance of rain both days. Both morning commutes will feature some wet weather. It's not a reason to be worried about the forecast or to cancel your plans or anything like that. Nonetheless, days to keep a little closer eye than normal on the first alert forecast, and we'll be keeping you updated right here, like on this Stream Atlanta News First Plus, also at atlantanewsfirst.com, and in the First Alert Weather app. That's the layout of the 7-day forecast. We get a nice little midweek break. We're done for a little bit. And then Friday, showers and thunderstorms back in the forecast. Friday looking pretty wet. But again, the stormiest of the weather, that greater risk of severe conditions, severe storms, should say, looking to remain middle, south, and coastal Georgia, generally south of our area. Nonetheless, first alert weather day. Friday, it's a day a lot of folks have plans, especially Friday evening, and rain could be something to contend with. Good news. There is a rain chance over the weekend. I can't promise a completely dry weekend, but it does look like there will be some dry time to get those plans in. So we're going to be watching that forecast here for you pretty closely. A reminder coming up in just a little bit, Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW affiliate, full forecast, latest news headlines then. And then we're back on Atlanta News First, WANF tonight, starting at 11 p.m. Should go on time. If you can't stay up with us, remember, you can wake up with the team. Atlanta News First starting in the morning, 4:30. Stream the newscast, get the latest forecast. First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazi, Ella Dorsey, and Rodney Harris. They'll walk you through where it's raining and any updates to the First Alert forecast if you can't stay up with us this evening and tonight. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening. Happy Mother's Day, moms. Hopefully you have a great work week. Also hoping weather does not impact your Monday or Tuesday plans.